Hey gang, and welcome to your very first Firebase hosting tutorial. So this playlist is going to be a mini course all about Firebase hosting. That is, hosting your web applications on Firebase. Now Firebase as a whole is what is known as a backend as a service, meaning that you can leverage all of the different features that it provides, databases, cloud functions, authentication, storage, hosting and more, to create a serverless application. And by that I mean you don't need to set up or configure your own server to use these cool server-side features. Firebase does all that for you. So some of the different things that Firebase provides to us is a cloud Firestore. That's a real-time NoSQL database, and I have a whole playlist on that on this channel. So if you want to learn more about that, check out that. The link is going to be down below. Cloud functions, which enable us to run functions in a Node.js environment on Firebase and then call those from the front end when we need them. I will do a whole series on cloud functions in the future. Authentication, so we can authenticate all of our apps users really easily using this service. And again, I do have a whole series on Firebase authentication on this channel. The link is going to be down below. And hosting down here, this is what we're going to be focusing on in this tutorial series. And this gives us a really nice and easy way to deploy our websites to a Firebase server, which will then host our application. And Firebase serves our content over a secure HTTPS connection, which is really nice too. Now, to make use of Firebase's services, we're going to have to do a couple of things. The first thing you need to do is sign up for a free account. So go to firebase.google.com first of all. And then if you're not already signed up, there's going to be a sign up option up here in the top right. So do that and sign up for a free account. Then you'll see this go to console link right here. So click on that and that's going to take you to a console which lists the different backend projects that you have set up with Firebase. Now when you first start, you're not going to have any apps up and running already. I have two, but I'm going to create a new one just to walk you through this process. So click on add project, then give this a name. I'm just going to call this Firebase-hosting-ninja. And then I'm going to come down, accept these terms and create project. Now this is just going to take a couple of minutes, and once it's fully loaded, it's going to give you a link to your backend control panel. So now click on continue. And this right here, this is essentially the control panel now for the whole backend of your application. So you can see we have access to these different services over here: authentication, database, storage, hosting functions, ML-kit, etc. and some more stuff down here. We're going to be focusing on hosting because we want to host our websites on Firebase. So click on hosting, and then after a second, if you click on get started, then you see first of all, the first thing we need to do is install Firebase tools onto our computer. This is a Firebase CLI. Now to do that, we use NPM, which is the Node Package Manager. So you need Node.js and NPM installed on your computer to do this. So the first thing to do then is go over here to nodejs.org and download Node.js on your computer if you don't already have it. Now don't worry, you don't need to know much about Node.js. We're only going to use this to install the Firebase tools, and that is really simple to do. Now you might already have Node installed on your computer. To check that, you need to open up a terminal. So I'm just going to go down here and say CMD and press enter. And then, let me just make this a little bit smaller. To check if you have Node installed, just say node-v. And that should give you the version number that you currently have installed. I've got 10.13.0. So download this one on the left over here. Go through the installation steps, dead easy to do. Then reopen your terminal and just type out node-v again to make sure that you have it installed on your computer. So that once we have Node installed on our computer, we can then go ahead and install Firebase tools using NPM, because when we install Node, NPM comes along for the ride too, and it installs that. And that is just a package manager. We use it to install different packages. And this right here, Firebase tools, this is a package that we need to install on our computer locally so that we can then use those tools to deploy our websites to the backend. So we say npm install, then -g, meaning we're installing this globally on our computer, then Firebase tools, which is the package name. So let me now go over to the terminal, and I'm going to say npm install -G Firebase-tools. So press enter, and then this is going to install this package on your computer for you. So once that's installed, to make sure it's done correctly, just type out Firebase and then -V this time, press enter, and now it should show the version that you have installed. At this moment in time, it's 6.6.0. So then, now we have Firebase tools installed locally on our computer, which we're going to use to later deploy an application to the backend, and we have our backend application set up over here. Now, if we press continue right now, we can see the next step is to use Firebase login, then Firebase init. So we're going to just do this first step, Firebase login, and what this is going to do is log us into the Firebase service. So you know we signed up for an account over here on Firebase. We're going to log in locally as well on our computer using this command. Now I've already done that, but if you just type here Firebase, oops, not in capitals, Firebase login and press enter, then that is going to throw up some kind of pop-up where you can log in using your Firebase credentials. Now you can see I'm already logged in as sean@thenetninja.co.uk, so I don't need to do that, but this is going to log you in, and you need to do that before you actually start to create your project using Firebase. So now we're ready and we're set up so that in the next video we can start to initialize a project locally using Firebase, using this CLI, and then eventually we're going to deploy our projects to the backend on Firebase over here. So for the rest of this series, I'm going to be showing you how to deploy a couple of different types of sites to Firebase hosting. First of all, a static HTML and CSS website, then a Vue.js website as well. I'm also going to show you how we can test our sites locally with a local development server that Firebase provides as well before we deploy a thing. And finally, I'll be showing you some other configuration options and how to set up redirects as well. Now, I've not created any course files for this series because it will be relatively short and simple, and it didn't really merit any course files. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what HTML, CSS and JavaScript makes up your website. The concepts of deploying the sites are going to be the same regardless. I'm also going to be using VS Code for the rest of this series as well. Now you can find that at code.visualstudio.com. It's a free editor, really nice as well, and comes with some nice packages installed like Emmet. So if you want to download that, go to code.visualstudio.com and click this button right here. The link to this site is going to be down below. So there we go, my friends. That's your introduction to this series. In the next video, I'm going to show you how we can initialize a Firebase project locally on our computer and then test it before we actually deploy it to Firebase.